KREX 5 Storm Team. This is your forecast first.
Good morning, Western Slope. It's not Monday. It's not Tuesday. It's Friday. Happy Friday to you. Well, we are looking at just a little bit of some clouds this morning, but it's a lot different than those freezing fog conditions we saw for the last few days. As far as our temperatures go, as you head out the door for today, well, they're going to be in the teens depending on where you are. And we're actually just looking at a very cold and calm kind of day for today, but we still have some chances of some snow ahead. Of all the details on what your weekend's going to look like, that's all coming up.
Good morning. It's time to wake up, Western Slope.
Good morning. Happy end of the week to you. It's Friday. Thank you for starting your day with all of us here on Wake Up Western Slope. I'm Kate Renasaf. And here are the top 5 stories you need to see to start your day. Getting your health in check may be a priority for you in the new year. The Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment is encouraging women to start the year by scheduling a Pap smear. Each year in the U.S., more than 4,000 women die from cervical cancer. January is Cervical Cancer Awareness Month, and KREX 5's Jillian McCarthy learned the steps you need to take in preventing this deadly disease.
Cervical cancer is really serious. It is a preventable cancer with the immunizations, with protection, with early detection.
The state health department encourages women ages 21 and older to get a Pap test. According to a local nurse, screening guidelines have recently changed.
Older women have been raised to think they've needed a Pap smear every year, and we've now have excellent research that says every 3 years is adequate up to the age of 30, and then screening again at age 30 every 5 years.
One of the best ways to prevent cervical cancer is by getting the HPV vaccine. Women and men can receive the vaccination.
HPV is sexually transmitted, so it can prevent different types of cancers in males as well. So it's not just for cervical cancer, but because it's transmitted sexually, it can be passed from male to female.
Mesa County Public Health's clinical manager says it's never too late to receive the vaccination.
It's a vaccine that's available from ages 9 to 45, so no matter given your age, if you didn't get it as a child, you still have that opportunity.
For Wake Up Western Slope, I'm Jillian McCarthy.
And Mesa County Public Health provides the HPV vaccine. The facility has programs for people who can't afford the vaccine or don't have insurance. Walk-in appointments are also available. And in total, cancer death rates are actually dropping in Colorado and across the country. A new report from the American Cancer Society suggests the lowering of the rate is due to major advances in treatment. Here in Mesa County, all cancer death rates have decreased by 30% in the past 18 years, with lung cancer dropping by a whopping 13.2% in the past 2 years. The American Cancer Society reports new numbers show the death rate dropped by 29% in the past 26 years. The overall drop in cancer deaths includes declines in lung, colorectal, breast, and prostate cancer. One nurse practitioner from St. Mary's Hospital says better technology is a reason why the Western Slope and the nation is seeing lower cancer rates.
Our technologies are getting better for treatment. We have great new medications. The ability to use immunotherapy for lung cancer treatment is definitely, we're seeing people living longer with advanced metastatic disease.
Page also says that a decrease can also be due to doctors educating their patients on the importance of cancer screenings. St. Mary's wants you to find more information on screenings by reaching out to your local family physician. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office is looking to recruit heroes for the Victim Advocate Program. These volunteers don't wear badges, but they make all the difference for victims of traumatic events at the crime scene. And that's what the current 36 volunteers are doing by offering compassion and resources for victims in the aftermath of crime or trauma. But these heroes also need help. Men and women 18 years old and up from all walks of life with no experience can be a victim advocate. Volunteers will receive 40 hours of classroom training taking place over 5 weeks and then will shadow an experienced victim advocate. You just need a basic level of fitness and compassion to help victims heal.
Every day, they do great work out there.
How does it feel to be a hero?
never thought of myself as a hero. It's just something you do.
It's not the same as putting out a fire or stopping somebody's bleeding. It's not that kind of work, you know, so it is very sort of an unsung. They are all really unsung heroes for that reason.
And if you're interested in making a difference in the community and be counted on in a time of crisis, head to westernsoapnow.com to sign up. Training begins February 11th. It's back to reality for the Grand Valley. Students return to school this week from winter break, and local businesses recover from a busy holiday season. KREX5's Adrienne Thomas has more on how local businesses are impacted by the slow weeks after the holidays.
Downtown Grand Junction is much quieter in the weeks following the holidays. The owner of Candle Kitchen, a custom candle shop, says she's seeing much slower traffic.
As soon as, I guess, kids went back to school, the inversion hit, the cold weather hit, everyone quit coming downtown, I think.
Mesa Jewelers are seeing some purchases, but mostly holiday sales coming back to them.
A lot of repairs. We do a lot of sizings. A lot of the rings that we've sold at Christmas, that comes back, and we're sizing those.
One local business leader says for many small businesses in the area, the holiday season is what makes their year.
Most of our small businesses that are in retail get upwards of 40% of their total annual revenue comes in the door during the holiday season.
Local business owners here in downtown Grand Junction tell us the busy time before and during the holidays makes up for this slow time of year. These business owners also say this time of year is an opportunity to regroup and plan for the future.
Getting things cleaned up, getting everything stored looking good. We're preparing for new events that we're going to be having.
For Wake Up Western Slope, I'm Adrienne Thomas, KREX 5 News.
Business owners say the next holiday they're gearing up for is Valentine's Day, coming up next month. And there's a new school in town thanks to D51, and it's rather unique. Orchard Mesa Middle School held a ribbon-cutting ceremony Thursday, introducing its new building and highlighting its new features. Something D51 officials are especially proud of is its energy efficiency. This new building has LED lighting and occupation sensors, a highly insulated building envelope, a storm drainage system designed to replenish groundwater, and lots of natural light. Superintendent Diana Circo seems to be especially excited about that natural light, saying it provides an efficient learning environment. But energy efficiency isn't the only perk this building has. Its design is safer than ever.
The safety of the building is obviously a large feature in this time. Unfortunately, we have to worry about those things a lot, but I think it's a point of pride for the whole community for coming together on behalf of our students in the 2017 bond.
The previous Orchard Mesa Middle School campus had 7 buildings on it. This one only has 1, making security much easier. The building also has a security vestibule when you walk in, where visitors must sign in before opening school doors. That was your top 5. Now it's time for your Ag Day Minute, the latest agricultural news affecting the nation. Today, when exactly Phase 1 of the China trade deal will be signed? Clinton Griffiths has your full report.
I'm Clinton Griffiths with today's Ag Day Minute. China now confirming it will sign a Phase 1 trade deal with the U.S. next week. The Commerce Ministry announcing Vice Premier Liu He will travel to Washington on Monday and then sign the interim trade deal on Wednesday. Now, under the plan, China has agreed to buy more American farm products, but it is not confirmed any specific numbers. If the trade deal is signed, will farmers continue to get trade aid payments? The last installment of Market Facilitation Program payouts scheduled to be made either this month or early February. But Farm Journal Washington correspondent Jim Wiesmeyer reporting his sources say USDA Secretary Sonny Perdue has not pushed for them to be paid. It's believed some in the Trump administration want to see how the Phase 1 deal with China unfolds before making a final decision. And following the record rain last year, one country, Vietnam, is complaining about the poor quality of U.S. corn. In fact, a recent report from the USDA Foreign Agricultural Service says, quote, according to industry, U.S. corn is less preferable than South American corn in the Vietnamese market due to its higher moisture and broken rate, darker color, and general price disadvantage, end quote. Now, Vietnam was a top 10 market for U.S. corn in 2018, but Argentina and Brazil continue to be the top 2 corn suppliers, accounting for over 80% of the market share. For more Ag News, watch Ag Day weekdays on the station or anytime at agweb.com.
And coming up later today in our noon and evening broadcasts, the second annual Human Trafficking Summit is being held in Rifle today. What was discussed and how they're trying to help. Those looking to revitalize Union Station are running into a major roadblock, literally. And an update on the possible new seat in Washington for Colorado. Tune in at noon, 5, 6, and 10 to possibly see these stories and much more on KREX 5 News. And today is National Houseplant Appreciation Day, so I guess we need to appreciate all the houseplants that we bought ourselves. So whether you have a fern or a bonsai, give them that extra splash of water as a thank you for being there for you. And today in history, London's Underground begins operations in 1863. In 1870, John D. Rockefeller, probably heard the name, and his brother William established the Standard Oil Company of Ohio. And in 1923, the United States finally withdraws its last troops from Germany after World War I. That's today in history. And coming up on Wake Up Western Slope, meteorologist Megan Montgomery tells you how to best prepare for your day in just a few moments. Plus, the House of Representatives votes on war powers regulation and now goes to the Senate where it faces an uphill battle. That's coming up.
Well, there's one other thing you can do on Houseplant Appreciation Day. You can actually put them in the window today and get a little bit of some sunshine. Yeah, we're going to take a little bit of a break in the weather, but we have more snow chances in the forecast. It's all coming up.
Have you heard? Tempur-Pedic sleep is better sleep.
With innovative memory foam developed by NASA, Tempur-Pedic mattresses reduce motion transfer,
Which means less tossing and turning so you can sleep undisturbed through the night.
But which Tempur-Pedic is right for you? Come to Denver Mattress and test for yourself.
Let our expert sales staff guide you to your perfect Tempur-Pedic.
And rest easy knowing it's backed by our 365-night better sleep guarantee. Shop Denver Mattress today, your Tempur-Pedic elite retailer.
The Census 2020 is here.
Historically, our communities have been undercounted and underrepresented.
It's important that our community is accurately counted so we can get the resources we need so everyone can thrive.
The census brings in billions of dollars into the state of Colorado. It helps our communities get funding that's vital to us, our families, and our children.
It's simple, safe, and secure.
You can respond by phone, by mail, and online.
In Colorado, everyone counts.
In Western Colorado, we're lucky to have an abundance of exceptional teachers working in our children's classrooms. Nominate a teacher you think exemplifies what it means to be a top-notch educator for the KREX5 Golden Apple Award. Each month, one District 51 teacher will be recognized for their dedication and hard work and rewarded with a basket of goodies from Homestyle Bakery. Head on over to the Golden Apple page on westernslope.now.com to submit your nomination. The KREX5 Golden Apple Award is brought to you by School District 51 and Homestyle Bakery.
Welcome back. Well, it's Friday, and it appears my weather computer is already out the door. So let's talk about some weather forecasting right here. Just me and you, old-fashioned style, like I'm telling you as a friend at home what the weather's going to be like today. You see here right behind me on our America's Mattress Live tower camera, well, we have a lot of clouds that are just kind of low-hanging, but the good news is most of those clouds are actually working their way out. They're not producing any freezing fog, and so we are actually going to look at a very calm day today. Now, as we have a storm system that is moving through the high country yesterday, it actually brought a little bit of snow to us into the lower elevations right around the middle of the day. We actually saw some snowflakes. The high country, seeing some snow this morning, so if you're headed out over to I-70 or also down to Highway 50 into the high country, into the San Juans, Grand Mesa, you get the deal. You're going to be encountering some icy conditions for today. We don't have any weather advisories in that direction, but just take it slow, especially if you're going to be heading out for your Friday or your weekend. Now, we are staying calm for today, but we're actually going to see chances of some snow begin as of tomorrow night, and we'll continue to see that all the way through Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and possibly even Wednesday morning. So for your 7-day forecast, our highs for today are going to be still cold. They will be in the 30s and 20s. For Grand Junction, you're looking at a high of 34 today, and for Montrose, 27 degrees. Still going to be cold, but we'll just see a little bit of some clouds and some mostly sunny skies for the rest of the day today. Then we will start to see some clouds build as of tomorrow. We'll see a very slight chance of some snowstorms in the late evening hours, and that will actually carry through until about Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday. We'll also look at some very cold temperatures. So, again, high for today for Grand Junction, 30, 31 for tomorrow, and then we'll see 29 by Sunday. For Montrose, your high for today, listen, click carefully, 27 for today, 28 for tomorrow, and 26 by your Sunday. Hope you're having a great day. Hope my computer comes back sometime soon. Until then, I'll just always be here talking about the weather. We'll be right back.
Be our guest for the United Way of Mesa County's 18th Annual Home Loan Taste of the Grand Valley at CMU on February 3rd and enjoy mouth-watering samples from area restaurants, caterers, and more, all to benefit our community through United Way. Tickets are available online at 970tix.com or at Home Loan Insurance in all 3 Enstrom Candies locations. United Way thanks KREX, KFQX, and these generous sponsors for the support. We'll see you at the Home Loan Taste of the Grand Valley, February 3rd at CMU.
Who doesn't want more? More donuts, more coffee, more time, more information. More is better, right? Right, so to bring you more, we've created the KREX Cafe. In-depth interviews with local political leaders, nonprofit organizations, and local people sharing what they're passionate about, our community. And since we only have so much time in our newscasts and in this promo, you can find all the information on our KREX Cafe page on WesternSlopeNow.com.
Brought to you by the Joe Reed team at RE/MAX 4000 Inc.
You see that? Whoa, we scored? Yeah, we scored. We're going to the playoffs. I can't believe I missed that. Every time I'm buzzed, I spend too much time on my phone. I should take your phone away. No. I'll call for a ride. Wait, why does my face look like that?
Thanks for watching KREX 5 News, home of the Western Slope Storm Team.
Welcome back to Wake Up Western Slope. It's now time to take a look at your national headlines. President Trump lashed out at congressional Democrats after the House passed a resolution aimed at limiting his ability to wage war against Iran. At a campaign rally in Ohio, the president called the top Iranian general he ordered killed in a drone strike last week a bloodthirsty terrorist. Lawmakers could take up a similar war powers resolution as early as next week in the Republican-controlled Senate, where it likely faces an uphill battle. Sources tell CBS News they are now confident Iran shot down a Ukrainian passenger jet near Tehran Wednesday morning, apparently by mistake. The plane was brought down just hours after Iran fired missiles at 2 bases in Iraq that housed U.S. troops. Iran has denied taking the plane down. There were no survivors among the 176 passengers and crew members. And Tom Steyer has become the 6th candidate to qualify for next Tuesday's Democratic presidential debate in Iowa. The billionaire philanthropist will join Joe Biden, Elizabeth Warren, Bernie Sanders, Pete Buttigieg, and Amy Klobuchar on the stage in Des Moines. Officials around the Western world say the evidence shows Iran shot down a civilian plane earlier this week. The Ukraine-bound jet, which had just taken off from Tehran, may have been mistaken for a threat. All 176 people on board were killed. About half of them were Iranian and about a third were Canadians. Iran denies responsibility. Meanwhile, here at home, some lawmakers want to put a check on President Trump if there is further military escalation. CBS's Mark Liverman is in New York with more.
The U.S. and its allies say it's likely Iran shot down a Ukrainian plane shortly after takeoff Wednesday morning.
The evidence indicates that the plane was shot down by an Iranian surface-to-air missile.
It was flying in a pretty rough neighborhood, and somebody could have made a mistake.
This video apparently shows the moment of impact, and here, the flaming wreckage raining down near Tehran. It came just hours after the Iranian missile strikes targeting U.S. troops, the retaliation for a drone strike that killed General Qasem Soleimani.
All of that intelligence as presented to us today does not suggest an intentional act.
Not intentional, but while Iran was on high alert as it waited for a U.S. response that never came.
At some point, they'll release the black box.
The current resolution is adopted.
Yesterday, House Democrats passed a resolution with some Republican support aimed at limiting President Trump's ability to wage further military action against Iran.
The framers of our Constitution rightly believed that the power to declare war belongs in the Congress.
Killing Soleimani was the right decision, but engaging in another forever war in the Middle East would be the wrong decision.
President Trump said he killed Soleimani because of a plot to blow up the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad.
We didn't have time to call up Nancy.
Some members of Congress say the administration has not provided enough evidence to justify the strike. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
A similar war powers resolution will be taken up by the Senate next week. As far as the downed plane goes, an Iranian news agency reports the black boxes will be opened and evaluated today. It also says Iran, going back on a previous statement, has decided it will invite the plane's manufacturer, Boeing, to help with the investigation. Those are your national headlines. Now we'll take things over to KREX5 sports anchor Troy Lynch with your Friday morning sports wrap. Troy, good morning.
Well, good morning. You know what's fun? High school sports. And you know what's back? High school sports. Yeah, from winter break, it finally returned. And last night we had some girl basketball action, so let's go hit the highlights. So let's take you out to Central. Girls taking on a team we haven't covered too much this season, the 1-5 Rifle Bears. Good defense early from the Warriors. Ronnie Brown with a swat from behind. And defense leading to offense. On the inbound, Nikki Mataris. She finds Leia Redding, who lays it up and in. Hey, Maya Murdoch, she put on a show last night. There she gets the steal, runs the break, checks her mirrors in, gets the fast break bucket. On the next possession, Redding hits up Mataris, and Alex Wagner with a little screen, too. Count it, 4-2. Murdoch, again, she gets the steal on the inbound, shows off the hustle, and a sweet layoff pass to Redding. Make it 14-0 Warriors. Later, Murdoch gets the flashy one-handed pass over to Autumn Spencer, knocks it down from range. More Murdoch, just mentioning her name all the time. Gnarly crossover, loops it to Redding, and she sends it home. Bears didn't get a field goal until the second quarter. Mackenzie Elzadaro, driving baseline, gets the reverse layup, but ultimately the Warriors would be too much for the Bears. They'd go on to collect a 50-30 win. And that is unfortunately all the time we have for sports, but we'll be right back after the break.
Hi there. At America's Mattress, we know sleep is important to your health. That's why our mattresses are made with environmentally innovative, low VOC foam. So rest easy and sleep well with a new bed from America's Mattress. Featuring Beauty Rest.
Here at Ryan's Diesel Repair, we can rebuild any truck or SUV transmission, saving you thousands of dollars over replacement. We also specialize in bumper-to-bumper repair and maintenance of all domestic diesels and 4x4s. The Valley's best high-performance diesels are running RDR trannies. Give us a call today at 243-7347 or check us out on Facebook.
Hi there. America's Mattress has been helping Western Colorado sleep better for 15 years. A lot has changed, but sleep is still as important as ever. We'd love to help you get your best night's sleep. So come see us. Featuring Beauty Rest.
I'm Clinton Griffiths, host of Ag Day, the nation's longest-running daily television newscast dedicated to the business of feeding the world. And we're glad to be able to share stories about food and farming every morning with you. It all starts with the Ag Day Minute on the new Wake Up Western Slope with Katrin Asaf. Katrin and the team will have all the news and weather to get your day started. Then watch Ag Day for the latest on crops, livestock, and rural living. Weekdays, 6 a.m. on My Network TV.
You're watching Wake Up Western Slope on KREX 5.
Welcome back to Wake Up Western Slope. Thursday, Governor Polis held his State of the State address, where he covered Colorado's growth and setbacks over the past year. One of the main topics of discussion was health care and insurance, specifically the governor's plans for improving rising health costs. Sean Boyd reports from Denver.
Glenn Brady is a small business owner in Summit County. Glenn is a single father.
As Governor Polis told the story of Glenn Brady and his 3 daughters, the state of the state's healthcare system came into focus.
A mother, holds the family together, and she was kind of the hub of everything.
In 2018, Brady's wife Kelly died of cancer, leaving behind 3 little girls and $500,000 in medical debt, despite health insurance that Brady says costs $30,000 a year.
Where I grew up in Appalachia, Pennsylvania, there are homes that people live in that I went to high school that still cost that much.
Brady wasn't sure how he'd keep a promise he'd made to his wife that included braces for their daughters. Then the governor's reinsurance law passed.
It was probably the biggest, most impactful, immediate savings that anyone ever offered me in my life. What was funny about it is I quickly thought in my head, that's almost $10,000. And that same month, I was told that their braces was going to be $10,000.
He made good on his promise, and Governor Polis made good on his, too.
To me, saving people money on health care wasn't just a policy goal, it's really a reason I ran for governor. I knew the pain that so many Colorado families feel.
Along with the reinsurance program, Governor Polis has also proposed a public health insurance option, which has been the topic of heated debate around Colorado. We'll continue to follow health costs in the state and the policies to change them. And here's what's going on in this morning's Money Watch report. Wall Street gained ground on Thursday. The Dow added 211 points, the Nasdaq climbed 74, and the S&P 500 rose 21. Stocks continue to rally with the de-escalation between the U.S. and Iran. Tech stocks led the way yesterday. Apple received an additional boost after new data from China shows iPhone sales jumped 18% last month. President Trump announced a regulatory rollback intended to speed up major infrastructure projects. The overhaul of the National Environmental Policy Act will quicken federal approval, but it also limits the review of a project's environmental impacts. Opponents warn the deregulation takes away the public's right to know about the potential harm a project might cause. Looking to pull down 6 figures this year? Well, see if Taco Bell is hiring. General managers at some of its company-owned restaurants will now receive an annual salary of $100,000. It's part of a larger group of New Year's resolutions Taco Bell is making, including a pledge to make all consumer-facing packaging recyclable, compostable, or reusable within 5 years. And top stories, hot and windy weather in southeastern Australia is threatening to worsen conditions in the already fire-ravaged area, forcing thousands more people to flee their homes. The unprecedented fire has also claimed at least 26 lives. CBS News' Mark Liverman reports.
After a couple days of relatively calm and cooperative weather, Mother Nature is poised to once again feed the flames ravaging much of Australia.
We have another dangerous fire weather day unfolding, presenting a difficult combination of very high temperatures and changing winds, and then a strong and gusty southerly change coming through later on. We will see a spike in fire dangers.
More than 1 billion animals have died. Many more are still at risk. More than 2,000 homes have been destroyed in the fire that scorched an area twice the size of the state of Maryland since September.
I knew people who lost their backyards, for whom the fire came right up to their houses.
Officials now fear that wind change from the south could blow some of the flames in a new direction, threatening coastal towns south of Sydney.
We weren't expecting to be under threat here after the last few days, but we are here now, and yeah, we'll band together.
A spontaneous standing ovation broke out at the Sydney International Airport yesterday as a plane full of American firefighters arrived to help. Prime Minister Scott Morrison said the Australian military is standing by to help firefighters and emergency agencies. He said that a government inquiry into the fires would examine the role of climate change. Mark Liverman, CBS News.
On top of all the wildlife killed so far, the wildfires in the wildfires, World Wildlife Fund Australia estimates another 100,000 livestock animals are dead as a result. The organization also says it fears the fires could lead to local extinctions and threaten the survival of some species. We'll be right back after this break with another look at your weather and what we're loving today. Don't go anywhere.
American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning is built to a higher standard, so you can focus on the problems in your life that actually matter.
Hey, Dave.
Like giving Jeff his ladder back before he takes it back. Or where to put the food when you both get the groceries. Or the doggy door that just became a raccoony door. Whatever you're worrying about, it won't be this. American Standard Heating and Air Conditioning, built to a higher standard.
Call 242-4429.
The New Year's Super Sale at Furniture Row has been extended, so there's still time to find your perfect new look. Find the latest styles in living. Have I told you you look great in red? Dining. I think she likes it. Bedroom. French country. Ooh la la. And mattresses. Is it comfy? Because it looks comfy. And best of all, get $100 off every $1,000 you spend, plus 5 years no interest financing. But hurry, the extended New Year's Super Sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
When you first wake up,
Good morning, and thank you for starting the day with all of us.
for your first cup of coffee,
We'll see temperatures in the 40s, 46 for today.
as you're getting everyone ready for the day.
The top 5 stories you need to see to start your day.
The all-new Wake Up Western Slope is local news and weather tailored for your busy mornings, at home or on the go. Make it a great day with Wake Up Western Slope. Weekday mornings on KREX 5.
Welcome back. Happy Friday to you. Let's all rejoice. The computer is back. Yay! I said we will be right back, and it literally came back, of course. Thanks a lot. Thanks. It's not even April 1st yet. All right, let's talk about your weather for this morning. We're looking at just a little bit of some low layer of some clouds, but really nothing to worry about. In fact, some places you can see the moon. What do you know? Our temperatures are cold, 12 right now in Grand Junction, 18 in Montrose. And we're also looking at teens and 20s in some places in the higher elevations. Speaking of the higher elevations, they did see some snow overnight, so you might see some icy places. Here are the looks at all of the higher elevation communities. Just be careful if you're headed out on the road for today. And if you're going skiing, here's a look at your ski forecast. Things are looking pretty good, very groomed slopes. I've been looking at the ski report. It's looking like a pretty good weekend to go and see some more snow. In fact, we're actually going to see a chance of snow. I'll explain coming up in about 10 minutes for the full forecast. But have you ever had a group of friends and you pull something off really cool? You know, you all work together just like we all do here at Wake Up Western Slope. Well, there's a really cool video, right, Katrin?
It is. This actually was filmed about 2 weeks ago, but it just came out today. It's a iPhone video that you're going to see was taken in Finland of a bunch of skiers doing a very cool trick. We're going to check it out on What We're Loving Today. And we, of course, here in Colorado love skiing, but apparently Finland takes it to a new extreme. This video was taken last Monday when 7 Finnish skiers attempted to do a single 360-degree backflip. Take a look here. Wow. Perfect landing. Perfect landing. They did it off of a ski jump, and guess what? It did, in fact, land. All 7 of the skiers are also holding hands the entire time since they take off. One guy in the back is kind of, he's way in the back. They have to kind of slingshot him forward to get everyone in line, but it does work out perfectly in sync the entire time, and of course, very cool, but also very dangerous stunt. No word on how many takes it took to get this right. I'm sure there's lots of draft videos of them not quite sticking the landing, but they did. It's a very cool video to see. We'll be right back in just a few more moments. Don't go anywhere.
Oh, there's something so real about Colorado, about the people and the places where we live. There's a pride around here that's been growing with the years, and I know without a doubt I'm not alone. Just look at all the reasons why we call this home. And I love to live From the mountains to the orchards in the valley, it's the river and the lakes that we all feel, and it just keeps getting better every day. And I love living local. There's nowhere else I'd rather be. Said I'm loving living local. The western slope is where I love to be.
I'm Clinton Griffiths, host of Ag Day, the nation's longest-running daily television newscast dedicated to the business of feeding the world. And we're glad to be able to share stories about food and farming every morning with you. It all starts with the Ag Day Minute on the new Wake Up Western Slope with Katrin Asaf. Katrin and the team will have all the news and weather to get your day started. Then watch Ag Day for the latest on crops, livestock, and rural living. Weekdays, 6 a.m. on My Network TV.
Welcome back and thanks for joining us. Well, we are looking at some calmer conditions that are in the Grand Valley right now and other parts of the Western Slope. You can see right behind me on our America's Mattress live tower camera, still just a little bit of some low-hanging clouds, but nothing to worry about. They're actually just low-hanging clouds, not even fog for today. Our temperatures, they are cold as you head out the door. Grab that coat, jacket, whatever you need to stay warm this morning. 14 right now in Grand Junction, and for Montrose, actually, they're in the teens as well as of last glance. 18 right now, a little bit warmer than Grand Junction. Doesn't happen very often, just occasionally. And we're all going to stay cold for this morning. Take a look at the rest of your day. We'll actually be even colder than it is right now by the time we hit sunrise. Just be on the lookout for that. But we get into the 30s for today. We actually get to see some sunshine, folks. That's exciting, right? But we are going to see a return of some snow coming in the forecast. Great news for all you winter lovers out there. I'll have all the details. That's all coming up in 5 minutes. For now, let's go to Katrin with our news flash.
All right, thank you very much, Megan. And here's everything you need to know to start your day in this morning's news flash. Cancer death rates are dropping in Colorado and across the country. A new report from the American Cancer Society suggests the lowering of the rate is due to major advances in treatment. Here in Mesa County, all cancer death rates have decreased by 30% in the past 18 years, with lung cancer dropping by a whopping 13.2% in the past 2 years. The American Cancer Society reports new numbers show the death rate dropped by 29% in the past 26 years. The overall drop in cancer deaths includes declines in lung, colorectal, breast, and prostate cancer. Dr. Jennifer Beebe of Western Colorado Hearing Aid and Balance is taking donations to support Operation Interdependence Care Package Drive. This Care Package Drive will benefit our troops stationed overseas. The money Dr. Beebe raises will go towards paying for shipping and purchasing non-perishable food items for the care packages. Western Colorado Hearing and Balance will match total donations of up to $2,000. The Mesa County Sheriff's Office is looking to recruit heroes for the Victim Advocate Program. The current 38 volunteers are offering compassion and resources for victims in the aftermath of crime or trauma. But these heroes need help. Men and women 18 years old and up from all walks of life with no experience can be a victim advocate. Volunteers will receive 40 hours of classroom training taking place over 5 weeks, and then will shadow an experienced victim advocate. You just need a basic level of fitness and compassion to help victims heal. If you're interested in making a difference in the community and be counted on in a time of crisis, head to westernslopenow.com to sign up. Training begins February 11th. And there's a new school in town. Orchard Mesa Middle School's new campus is state-of-the-art, keeping energy efficiency and safety in mind. Orchard Mesa held a ribbon-cutting ceremony Thursday, introducing its new building and highlighting its features. This new building has LED lighting occupation sensors, a highly insulated building envelope, a storm drainage system designed to replenish groundwater, and lots of natural light. Energy efficiency isn't the only perk this building has. Its design is safer than ever. Downsizing from 7 structures to just 1, the building has a security vestibule when you walk in, where visitors must sign in before the school doors open. And local business owners tell us the weeks after the holidays are slow for them, but this downtime means regrouping after the holiday season and setting goals for the new year. Business owners also tell us this slow time means they can replenish inventory or hold special events in their stores. You can see the full story on westernslopenow.com. And coming up in sports, the nationally ranked Colorado Mesa University swimming and diving teams get back in action today. The 13th ranked men's team will square off on number 23 Colorado School of Mines, and the 9th ranked women's team hosts Mines and Dixie State in an RMAC double duel. That's at 3. CMU men's and women's basketball teams have some home cooking going on tonight as well. They both host New Mexico Highlands at Bronson. Women tip off at 5:30 and men at 7:30. And hockey fans get the chance to root on the Avs tonight as they host the Pittsburgh Penguins at the Pepsi Center. Puck drops at 7. Now we're going to toss things over to meteorologist Megan Montgomery for what's coming up in your weather.
Well, Katrin, I hope you have enjoyed those areas of freezing fog. Oh, but we are going to look at some calm weather for the next 24 hours before we see another chance of some snow. I'll tell you just how long it lasts. It's all coming up.
There's always something going on at CMU. Sports games, community events, and so much more. For information on game schedules, tickets, or joining the MAV Club, visit the CMU Athletics Network, exclusively on WesternSlopeNow.com.
Oi, come on down to the Goat Clover Tavern on Main Street. It's a great pub. They've got a tasty menu of delicious bangers and mash, corned beef sandwich, fish and chips, burgers and twisty fried potatoes, and an exquisite whiskey bar. There's a little something for everyone. You can watch the game with your friends, relax at a cozy table, or join us on the patio for a Guinness. Celebrate the fun, food and drink of the British Isles right here on Main Street, Grand Junction. The Go to Clover Tavern. There's a pint waiting for you.
ScoreStream and Western Slope Now are teaming up to bring you live high school sports updates. Get the latest scores and stats on your desktop, tablet, or mobile device by going to WesternSlopeNow.com. Brought to you by Houghton Tire Company.
Local news right in your pocket. Download the KREX5 News mobile app on your Android or Apple device. Now you can customize which alerts and notifications you get. Just click the Settings tab, customize alerts, and select what you want. Local breaking news, local weather, and even up-to-date scores and highlights from the CMU Mavericks and Denver Broncos. All in the palm of your hand. Stay connected with the KREX5 News mobile app. Download today on Google Play or the App Store.
Welcome back and happy Friday to you all. Well, we're at the last day of the week. Let's keep those good vibes going for this morning with the pet of the day. Today's pet of the day will make you smile when you look at it. This is Scout. Thanks so much to Mary in Orchard Mesa for sending this photo in. I have some insider information. This smile, there's a ball behind the camera. Oh yeah, looking forward to playing with that. And also I heard Scout is not a stranger to anybody. We'll just accept pets. Although his brother, not into really meeting new people. So I can see why. Friendly face makes a lot of friends as well. Thanks so much to Mary for sending this photo in. If you have a pet that you would like to have featured on our morning newscast as part of my pet of the day, just go to any of my social media profiles. I am on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Just go to that username right there, @TheWeatherMegan. Go ahead, send that photo, and make sure to include your first name, pet's name, and city you're from. You never know, your pet could have been chosen as my pet of the day. We are looking at just still some low-lying clouds for this morning. That really doesn't mean anything this time. We're actually not seeing any fog at all, except our temperatures. They are cold, they are in the teens, and they are really below freezing right now. 14 in Grand Junction and 18 degrees in Montrose. But those low-hanging clouds, they're just going to be with us through most of the day today. Now you see all this white though, high country. You've been seeing some snow as of the last 24 hours. Matter of fact, if you take a look at all of our satellite, it's just part of the system that worked its way through the state yesterday. Still a little bit in the eastern plains and also the high country for this morning. If you're headed out for today or this weekend, just be aware that they're going to see some snow in the mountains. So this is what all of the highways look like right now. Very icy conditions. You can see the sheen on the road in Glenwood Springs. Just take it slow, take it easy. Y'all are Coloradan, you know what you're doing, but we're actually going to see some calm weather for today. There's just this area of some moisture right here in the Pacific Northwest. We're actually going to see that come our way, and that's going to bring us another chance of some snow for your weekend. So here's how it looks in our 7-day forecast for today. Calm and clear, 30s, 31 for tomorrow, and then we'll actually start to see some more chances of snow showers as of tomorrow into the beginning of next week. Montrose, we have a high of 27 for today, 28 for tomorrow, and we'll see chances of snow showers as of tomorrow all the way through Wednesday. Thanks for joining us. We'll be right back.
The New Year's Super Sale at Furniture Row has been extended, so there's still time to find fresh designs in living, dining, and bedroom. Plus, get $100 off every $1,000 you spend, and 5 years no interest. But hurry, the extended New Year's Super Sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
Where do you see local information about your community? Local happenings, local deals, local businesses? Local Focus indoor billboards. You've seen them in your favorite restaurants, gyms, or convenience stores. Watch TVs and local businesses all over town. Stay informed on local happenings, local deals, local businesses. Watch Local Focus TV. To advertise, call 970-261-4319 or go to localfocustv.com.
In Western Colorado, we're lucky to have an abundance of exceptional teachers working in our children's classrooms. Nominate a teacher you think exemplifies what it means to be a top-notch educator for the KREX5 Golden Apple Award. Each month, one District 51 teacher will be recognized for their dedication and hard work and rewarded with a basket of goodies from Homestyle Bakery. Head on over to the Golden Apple page on westernslopenow.com to submit your nomination. The KREX5 Golden Apple Award is brought to you by School District 51 and Homestyle Bakery.
The New Year's Super Sale at Furniture Row has been extended, so there's still time to find fresh designs in living, dining, and bedroom. Plus, get $100 off every $1,000 you spend, and 5 years no interest. But hurry, the extended New Year's Super Sale at Furniture Row ends soon.
KREX5 Storm Team Weather is brought to you by the Asthma and Allergy Center of Western Colorado.
Today, a warning for parents and important information about a respiratory virus that's hitting infants and young children in the U.S. harder than usual this year. It's known as RSV. Every year in the country, about 57,000 kids under age 5 need to be treated in hospitals for it, and it can lead to as many as 500 deaths. Adriana Diaz has more on what parents need to know.
The flu-like virus has babies filling this Milwaukee intensive care unit.
I think when we got here, it was like almost 100 breaths a minute. So you could really see that he was like almost gasping for breath.
Just before Christmas, Robin and Sarah Comas' son Colton was diagnosed with respiratory syncytial virus, also known as RSV.
We were scared and confused, like we had just gone to the doctor, so we didn't expect this.
He was admitted to Children's Wisconsin, where we had to interview Dr. Michael Meyer in the hallway because the ICU is full.
For you and I, RSV is a common cold virus. For little kids, because their airways and their passages are so small, you fill that up with secretions, suddenly it's very difficult to breathe.
The CDC and state health departments don't track severe RSV like they do the flu. But besides Wisconsin, hospitals in at least 4 other states have reported a surge in cases. 3-week-old Paisley Mitchell's recovering from RSV at Arkansas Children's Hospital, which has seen 100 more patients than this time last year. After a week in the hospital, Colton is now recovering at home.
It was super emotional to take him home. We were so happy to all 5 of us be in a room together for the first time in a week.
Unlike the flu, which can spread through particles in the air, RSV is transferred by contact, which is why washing your hands and cleaning surfaces, including your phone, is so important to protect your kids.
And that's a story we'll continue to follow, but let's take a look at your entertainment headlines. It's a day full of duos as Martin Lawrence and Will Smith team up again. Batman and Robin prove inseparable, and music legends pay tribute to an icon. Let's check out what's happening in Hollywood on this morning's ION Entertainment.
One last time.
One last time.
They're back. Will Smith and Martin Lawrence return in Bad Boys for Life. It's the third movie in the 25-year-old franchise featuring buddy cop duo Mike Lowrey and Marcus Burnett. They team up to take down the Miami drug cartel and now their own midlife crises.
It's rare, but it's beautiful to be able to come back together and maintain this much of a same cast after this amount of time.
Exactly, I agree.
And everybody's still handsome.
Bad Boys for Life hits streets January 17th. The world of music will pay tribute to an icon, honoring 7-time Grammy winner Prince. Alicia Keys, John Legend, Usher, and many more signed up to perform in a special event. Let's Go Crazy, the Grammy salute to Prince. The concert will take place in Los Angeles 2 days after the Grammys and will be broadcast on a later date on CBS.
Holy turnout!
From the mean streets of Gotham to the sidewalks in L.A., actor Burt Ward, who played Robin in the Batman television series in the 1960s, received a star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. It was placed right next to Adam West's star.
I loved Adam. I miss him terribly. He was a great, wonderful human being with amazing comedic sense.
Now the dynamic duo can fight evil and foot traffic for years to come. That's your Eye on Entertainment. Joy Benedict, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Hello from beautiful Miami. No city has hosted this game more than Miami. They're getting ready to host it for the 11th time, and no team has played in the big game here more than the Indianapolis Colts. They've been here 4 times. The last time, 10 years ago, when Drew Brees and the Saints beat Peyton Manning and the Colts.
Big Game Special, only on Fox 4. Brought to you by First National Pawn, Elevate by DMEA, and JP Dental.
Look at each other.
I feel like I was never enough.
I'm never going to feel whole. I'm going to tell you why. Shut up.
5 days a week, Mel Robbins is taking control.
You said you wanted a light bulb moment, and I'm going to give it to you.
Taking charge.
This has got to stop.
And taking things head on.
I'm a princess. I should be treated as royalty. I don't think there's any princesses in America.
That's why multiple storm systems are on the way. Hi, most of you know me as Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation for KRX5 and Fox 4. But you know that I'm actually a certified meteorologist with a degree in atmospheric science.
This is a fast-moving storm. We've got an inflow notch, deep low-level rotation.
Oh, and I also have an Emmy for my work in broadcast meteorology. So the next time you want fair, honest, accurate weather information that's more than highs and lows of the day, tune in every weeknight to KRX5 and Fox 4.
You're watching Wake Up Western Slope on KREX5.
Welcome back. Before we get to your final forecast, Chief Meteorologist Chris Nation breaks down what's up with weather across the U.S. in his Nation Report. Chris, good morning.
Cajun, we're talking about a lot of stuff happening today across the U.S. Now, first and foremost, we're going to get to the south and the extreme tornado danger that is going to develop later this afternoon. But as usual, let's break it down by zones. If you're traveling to Las Vegas, L.A., San Francisco, things there are going to be okay. Cold front is pulling away, high pressure behind it, starting to fill in. Most of the day will be clear skies. But then as we move into tonight, into tomorrow, a weak disturbance comes on shore to create some snow stretching up towards Salt Lake and in the west side of Colorado, right here where we're at. Now, in the Pacific Northwest, that's an interesting scenario as well. We're already tracking the next system. High pressure starts throughout the day and moves through. Next system comes on shore as we move into the afternoon and overnight hours and spreads across most of the Pacific Northwest, bringing snow with yet another system right behind that. And it's worth noting those impulses will eventually wind up in Colorado. Let's take a look at the snow projector throughout the weekend, because it's not just Colorado being affected. Serious snow totals now projected stretching from Oregon all the way up into Washington and the west side of Canada. Now let's get to the main event. There's a serious situation that is developing out there, especially between about 3 o'clock this afternoon when we get into the evening. That, our storm system hits the Gulf moisture, explodes into a very powerful squall line, moves east along the edge with its cold front, and there is a significant threat of tornadoes east of Dallas today. When you look at the actual legend here, they have gone to a moderate level. That is just about the 4th out of 5 highest levels you can get, and there's discussion already about potentially getting a high risk today, as well as what they call a tornado emergency potential stretching through there all the way up to the edge of the Tennessee Valley. The threat will continue even into tomorrow, where we'll see at least enhanced risk stretching over New Orleans all the way up into the Carolinas. Now, into the far northeast, there's another situation there. No threat of tornadoes, but the cold front and the moisture from the top of that system is going to continue to pump in. Thunderstorms eventually into Saturday will spread across the region, and eventually the cold front will push it offshore with significant snow and wraparound effect, plus lake effect snow on top of that carries right into Monday. No matter where you're traveling, we've got issues.
When you first wake up,
good morning, and thank you for starting your day with all of us.
for your first cup of coffee,
We'll see temperatures in the 40s, 46 for today.
as you're getting everyone ready for the day.
The top 5 stories you need to see to start your day.
The all-new Wake Up Western Slope is local news and weather tailored for your busy mornings, at home or on the go. Make it a great day with Wake Up Western Slope. Weekday mornings on KREX 5.
Coming up, U.S. intelligence sources confident that Iran shot down a Ukrainian passenger plane. The latest on the investigation. Plus, what you need to know about popular heartburn drugs and a chemical linked to cancer. Coming up on CBS This Morning.
We have a quick question of the day for you. Do you wear blue light glasses at home? Do they work for you? Let me know. Just send me a message on my Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram. I am at The Weather Megan. We're having a debate in the newsroom right now. Let's talk about your weather, though. For today, there's no debate about what's happening there. We'll look at some cold and calm conditions for today and also some mountain snow for those of you in the higher elevations. For the rest of the weekend, though, we're actually seeing more snow chances coming, not only for the mountains, but also the low elevations as well. Here's a look at the 7-day forecast. For what I mean about that, we are actually going to see a 20% chance as of tomorrow. Highs for today, 30 with mostly sunny skies. Snow shower chances come as of tomorrow with high of 31 for Grand Junction. Montrose, we have a high of 27 for today, and we'll also look at chances of some snow showers for you as well. That's a quick look at your forecast. Let's go to Katrin.
All right, Megan, thank you very much, and thank you for joining us this Friday morning for Wake Up Western Slope. We'll be right back with more news, weather, and sports in just a few moments. Have a fantastic rest of your day and a fantastic weekend. We'll see you on Monday.